Thank you. Okay, I'm going to give one more minute and then we'll get started. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. Nice to see all of you guys, and we're excited to have you here. My name is Mindy Rieger. I'm the Director of Development for the MESA statewide office. I oversee all of our external partnerships, alumni, and communications team. We are really thrilled to have this session today. We have a couple housekeeping things and then we'll get started. So first of all, if you have questions, we're very excited to be able to answer them. Please use the Q&A to submit them. You can put them in the chat. I just want to make sure that we're tracking them to ensure they get answered. So using the Q&A can help us do that. Also, we have some additional sessions coming up in the near future, so please make sure to check out all your events on MESASpace. For those of you attending the event, we have a professional licenses session in about 2 weeks from now, maybe 3 weeks. So please check that out, and we will be adding additional sessions after that. And we are very excited about our session today. And so with that, I'm going to introduce our moderator, Vanessa. Vanessa, for over 20 years, has worked for UC supporting programs that address issues in equity, access, and opportunity for underrepresented communities. As a first-generation scholar and daughter of Mexican immigrants, Vanessa is proud product of the UC system, earning her bachelor's in political science from Berkeley. She earned a master's in organizational development and leadership from St. Mary's College of California and a PhD from California Institute of Integral Studies. She currently serves as UC Office of the President's Special Projects and Research Manager, conducting complex analysis focused on outreach, advocacy, and academic pathways initiatives to support UC Advance, its agenda to diversify the professorate and graduate students. Vanessa examines post-degree outcomes, helps lead system-wide surveying efforts, and maintains online resources for prospective students, and helps manage the system-wide UC-HSI Doctoral Diversity Initiative grants and President's Pre-Professoriate Fellowship Program. There was a lot of terms that I had difficulty saying, but all in all, she's a very professional and perfect person to moderate this session. We are thrilled to have her. And with that, I will turn it over to Vanessa.
Wow, thank you, Mindy, for that introduction. That's awesome. I got tired just listening about all of that. But thank you so much for spending your lunch hour with me and with these lovely ladies and all of our MESA students here. We're going to kick it off, but before we do so, I want to introduce you to our three panelists, which I have the pleasure and privilege of sharing this space with you. We have Tiara Ware, we have Diana Lizarraga, and we have Monica Tejeda. And I'm actually going to turn it over to each of them. So if you can each introduce yourselves, just share a little bit about yourself, as was just graciously shared about me. And also speak about the role you have. What do you do, your work, just so that students can help contextualize and understand, how you're providing, insights and answers. So I'm going to kick it off with Tiara. So please introduce yourselves and share a little bit about what you do.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. As introduced, my name's Tiara Ware. I use she, her pronouns, and my current role is Assistant Dean for Recruitment, Outreach, and Admission in the Division of Graduate Education at UCLA. I just turned 4 years old at UCLA in California and in graduate education, all simultaneously. My career started out in undergraduate admissions and recruitment, and retention and support services. So I've toted the line of being involved in promoting higher education, but also making sure that those students I recruit get through and that they're successful when they touch base at institutions. My niche has been supporting underrepresented populations. I publicly identify as an African American woman. However, I'm first generation as well. So I've navigated higher education and made some mistakes that I take pride in trying to make other folks avoid those and be able to make informed decisions. So I've again been in higher education, I think about 17 years total now, last 4 in graduate education. In my current role, which attracted me to it, I get to shape policy and make sure that it is inclusive and make sure that it's equitable and hold people accountable. It's a lot of fun because I get to have more of that interface with faculty. And while I enjoyed working very close and really miss getting to work very closely with students, policy really is where I get to make a greater impact when it comes to equity, diversity, and inclusion. So that's been really, really great to kind of tote the front line of access. That's enough about me, I think. I'll turn it over to Di, my colleague at Berkeley.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So nice to connect with all of you. I work at UC Berkeley, and I've been here for about 23 years. Before that, I was at UC Davis, where they recruited me, and I was a MESA student back in the mid-90s. I actually worked for MESA at Sacramento Community College. Before that, I'd gone to 3 other community colleges. And it really helped shape a trajectory for me to leave being a career waitress of 9 years to thinking about how STEM could create a pathway for me. So I finished my degree at UC Davis in STEM, went on for my master's degree, went to work. I taught myself how to code, would build websites to help put myself through school in the late 90s, and went on to work for Hewlett Packard, and then went on to work in the graduate division at UC Davis. They recruited me to Berkeley, and I've been in nerd heaven ever since. So it's been a wonderful space to connect with students, support students, not only the current Berkeley students that we have, but I always keep an eye out for MESA students. In fact, one of the best moments I had this semester is when a community college student named Joseph, a physics student, came and said, "I'm now a Berkeley student." And he had gone to a tour that we had organized 2 years ago for his Mesa Community College. And so those kind of memories are really important. We hosted, gosh, I want to say about 30 MESA students from Monterey Peninsula Community College last month. And this month on Halloween, we've got another 30 to 40 MESA students coming from Ohlone Community College. So not only are we supporting the students, undergrads and graduate students through the CalNERDS program and initiatives and student center that we have here at UC Berkeley, but we're also really excited to do outreach and promote things to help support community college students. One highlight I'll share from the summer that involves Mesa Community College students, we had 12 different community colleges represented for our Pyramid program, which was a pilot. And that's where we brought Mesa, Umoja, Puente students to Berkeley for a one-day event where we taught them how to 3D print or how to code in Python. And we took them to research labs and gave them a tour of the campus and a lunch with our research scholars. And so we're hoping that we can do that again. So again, thank you, everybody. I'm also going to put in the chat, we're hosting a virtual introduction to Python coding bootcamp for anybody that's interested and has never learned how to code. This particular workshop that we've designed is specifically for the student that is not familiar, the student that doesn't know what that means, and we will help you. So I'll put that in the chat. I'll keep that Zoom or that link open for a couple more hours. It's tomorrow and it's on Sunday. Should you want to opt in, I'll put it in the chat and you can decide for yourself. But welcome, really grateful to be here. Lastly, I'm also a graduate student. So I'm a graduate student at UC Davis, finishing my doctorate in educational leadership. And my specialty is in educational technology. I design websites and structures and things, but also studying diversity STEM students. So very happy to be with all of you and in such great company. Thanks. I will pass it on to Monica.
Good morning. My name is Monica Tejeda, and I'm an alumni from MESA. So I went through graduate school, and I guess I'm here on the panel to, represent alumni who've, been through the MESA program. And I was in the MESA program through middle school, through high school, at community college as well when I was an undergrad at El Camino College in Torrance. And then I transferred to Cal State Long Beach, where I studied chemistry and applied math. And there was no MESA back then for undergrads at the university. There is now, so I love that. I hope a lot of you guys are taking advantage of that program. But when I was in graduate school, I found MESA in the graduate program because they were hiring tutors. So then I started to work for MESA on the tutor side, where we would tutor middle school and high school students, and I believe Paramount Unified School District. So they come to the Cal State Long Beach Center, and the MESA program there does outreach. So they help them with their MESA projects, and they sometimes host the MESA competitions for regionals. So through my work with MESA, I got to meet the director there, who was Saba, right at Cal State Long Beach. She just retired. I'm sad to see her go, but happy for her, very happy for her. And I got to meet Danielle and Mindy, who reached out to me to ask me to do a video. So some of you may have seen me in a video out there on YouTube speaking in Spanish about my experience in MESA. Because I am Mexican American, first generation American, first generation college student. And very present here to field any questions that you may have about what it's like to be a first generation student in graduate school as well. I did 2 graduate programs at Cal State. So my background is a pyramid because all of my graduate school and undergraduate school was at Cal State Long Beach. I did my first master's in civil engineering with a program emphasis on environmental and water resources engineering. And my second program was in applied mathematics / computational mathematics. They threw in the computational part by force. We didn't choose that. I'm an applied mathematician, and I work as a civil engineer, assistant civil engineer for the City of Santa Monica Water Resources Division now. And yeah, I think that's the bulk of it. You might have read a little bit more in the handout that Danielle prepared, but very happy to be here and field any questions that you guys have about what it's like to be a graduate student and what it's like to maybe be a mom in school or a parent in school, because I also have that experience when I was in all of my schooling from undergrad through grad. And I also worked full-time during my second graduate program. So that was a little bit difficult. It elongated my stay as a graduate student for that second program because I took some time off one semester, and then other semesters I went part-time. So I do have some, background and experience in what it's like to try to manage those things if you're looking at grad school, but not sure if you also have to work at the same time. But yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much, Monica and Tiara, Diana. You guys are rock stars first and foremost. So we're very, very grateful and thankful that you're here. But to kick off the conversation, we really want to ground the discussion around this overarching question. Why go to graduate school? What are some of those motivations? So I'm going to start off with Tiara and ask can you speak to some of those motivations that you've noticed as to why some students would want to pursue graduate education? What do you hear from them when they reach out to you? Do you think that they're, are they doing it for financial reasons? Do you think they want to make a contribution to the field? Is it for their families and their communities? They want to address issues that are really impacting them. They want to make a difference, long-lasting impact, or, what other things are students considering as they pursue an advanced degree?
Thanks, Vanessa. So great question, especially in the current economy, where I have, it's an interesting economy, I'll just say, put it that way, where some people I know, some of my colleagues in different fields have been in the application pool a little bit longer. But that said, I want to emphasize that this specific area of interest there's still a high demand for folks that are interested in tech and STEM related areas. As you all know, there are a variety of graduate degrees that you can pursue. And specifically when it comes to many of the science-rooted programs, you'll have a master's degree or a PhD or doctoral degree to some degree. And I often have discussions or questions about, I'm getting my bachelor's. Can I apply for that doctoral degree right away? Or do I have to get the master's first? And I think that that is a very common question, and it makes sense. And I would totally see why one would think they have to, when the truth is that you don't need to. For UCLA and for many of the UCs, the minimum requirement in terms of the degree is actually the bachelor's degree. So when you finish that 4-year degree, you really should be taking the moment to think about your career goals. And I think that that, particularly for the folks on this call, is going to be very key, because the specific career goals that you have could have vastly different outcomes. Whether you are interested in going into academia or the research, you want to change the science in a big way, you want to publish, that's one goal. Whereas if you want to be in the industry and more hands-on and get into the field of work right away, that is completely different. And that is the differences in those degrees. For both degrees, I think this is relevant, but if you are going into a doctoral program, I really push students to know your why, because you are going to question that. And Vanessa, you can probably attest to that throughout. It's a longer degree. It's more of an investment of you, of your time, of your life. And that's not to say a master's degree isn't, but again, there's two different ideologies that you should be having when you're thinking about those different degrees. Certainly, degrees in these areas can land you in a higher paying job, which is great. But it's not just because of the competitiveness of the market. Just getting the degree, I always say, is just step one. It's still important to have a great network. It's still important, again, to know your why. Have a love for learning. That natural intellectual curiosity is what we may write on an application to drive you and to keep you through it. That's really what I would say is important in terms of going to grad school, because if you're not really rooted in why you're there, if you don't have a connection with what you're studying, with that career, that thing that you think about that lights you up, I can't wait to get up and do this every day, you will lose sight of it. And then you could potentially, it's an investment money-wise as well, especially if maybe you're looking at a master's shorter term degree. So people go to school for different reasons, obviously, and it's okay to improve your life. Education has certainly changed the trajectory of my life in a positive way, but I went into something, a job that helps people, that makes me feel good, that those are important values when I went into it. So I would just say, do the me search is the term that we use, to really have those discussions, not only with yourself, but with your close, your network, your advisors, your friends and family, so that, again, not just what you want to do, why you want to go to a specific school, what can that program or that institution give to you? You're not just lucky to go there. I always say we're lucky to have you. So a lot of introspection to have that rooted before you start this application process, but we're here to push you to think about those things.
Thank you so much. And I want to just take that one step further, and I'm going to ask you, Diana, to speak to this. So we have the big kind of philosophical questions we ask ourselves, like, why would I want to go to graduate school, which Tiara did a wonderful job kind of describing. But I'm going to ask you to speak to the practicality of it. What kind of experiences do you suggest undergraduates, or even people that have stepped away from education, throughout their journey, can undergo and be a part of, whether it's a research program or anything else, so that they can understand what it feels like to potentially be a graduate student? So what are some of those experiences?
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. When I was a MESA student, I was at Sac City. That was the last community college that I was at. I had been at 3 others before that, and I was just taking classes when I could. And my MESA director, Megamo Johnson, had told me, there's a whole world out there. You're so inquisitive, you need to get involved in research. And back in the 90s, we didn't have web applications. So I researched different options with his help and applied to 10 different programs. And I got 6 rejection letters. And I was so sad because I'm like, oh, I'll just be a waitress. It'll be fine. But then I got 4 acceptances. And I had opportunities to do research, which I knew nothing about. I took the opportunity to get my hands wet with research at the Hugh Edmondson Pathology internship at the UC Davis Medical Center. And getting a hands-on research experience changed my life. It's something that I sought out and really looked for when I transferred. I wanted a school that had an undergraduate research center that would help me get research when I was an undergrad. And I did 3 other different research projects when I went to transfer to UC Davis. So the practicality of getting hands-on experience outside of the classroom, I think, is really important. And you know, I've been, like I mentioned, I've been at Berkeley for 23 years. One of the things that I've seen when students get involved in a research program or in a research experience, you don't necessarily have to be in a program per se, is that it increases their confidence level, right? And that's important when you're shaping your STEM identity. Am I in the right space? I know for me, when I was doing my research, I'd mentioned I'd done a total of 4 different undergraduate research projects. The first one was in laboratory information services. And while I really liked the technology and looking and analyzing test ordering patterns from the emergency room, it really wasn't my calling per se, but I learned a lot of important computational skill sets that were really good for me. The next research project I did was in laboratory. I did studying the California state fish and GIS mapping. GIS is Geographical Information Systems. And when I started to look at that work and how I was plotting a restoration map of the little kern golden trout, which is our California state fish, and how the brown trout had come in and was an invasive species, I thought, wow, this is really fascinating. And I love the mapping of it. But at the time, again, I had 5 jobs to put myself through college. One of them was coding websites. The technology, ArcGIS wasn't invented yet. So we had really old school methods of mapping, which was really complicated. So I thought, I want to come back to this someday, but it's not what I'm passionate about. So I did another research project at the Primate Center at UC Davis, studying erythropoietin in maternal macaques. So I was looking at these monkeys, and while I really thought that was important research, especially helping pregnant women and how this study led to helping pregnant women, it didn't align with me personally because I know that the monkeys had to be put down by OSHA standards. We had to be very methodical and ethical. And I was raised by a farm vet, so I thought I could do this, but I really struggled with that. So the hands-on experience that research gave, I thought was really practical and helpful, but also helped you discover things about yourself, about what your core values are, what you can handle, and what direction you might go. The 4th project I ended up doing was in STEM education. And it was one that I didn't see coming, but I studied undergraduate research posters and oral presentations. And I attended the National Conference for Undergraduate Research and gave a presentation about that. And that, for me, I knew it. I could feel it. The other ones were great, but this was, in Spanish, we say a la quinta. It's like to the 5th power. It was so like everything. I was like, oh. And that's when I knew that this was the right field for me. And I hope that all of you that are listening, that you give yourself permission to explore. One of the things we say at Cal Nerds is exposure, participation, transformation. And that's important. Whether you're taking classes, it doesn't mean you can't be in a club. It doesn't mean you can't get computational training or other kinds of outside training to see if that's something that you're interested in. We do a lot of tinkering here at Cal and at our student center. Should you ever want to come visit, come let me know. We have a lot of 3D printers. And so we teach students how to 3D print. So I think that those kinds of skill sets help with the discovery of what is exciting for you, because the days of having to be just one thing is over, right? Our students right now are doing micro learning moments all the time, and they are musicians and engineers, right? They're artists and biologists. So it's no longer you have to be just one thing. And you might not know this, but some graduate groups like at UC Davis have programs that mix 2 or 3 different areas that you can create yourself. So if you're passionate about social justice and environmental engineering and policy, there's a program that you can custom create to follow all of those passions. So you need folks that are out there, especially all the good stuff that Tiara was saying. You need to know that these people exist to help support your dreams come true. But if you never ask for help, you're never going to know, right? So look around the opportunities, look at the flyers around the wall, see what the options are, but please, please, please consider thinking about undergraduate research. You can do undergraduate research as a community college student. I did. I never thought that was possible in the 90s, but it absolutely changed my life. And now I'm a huge advocate for students at Berkeley and other places to get involved with hands-on research to see what makes sense for you. So I'll stop there, but thank you for that question.
Thank you so much, Diana. And Monica, I'm going to turn it over to you because you went back twice. You had two motivations for getting 2 master's degrees, and you work in industry now. You didn't follow that academia path. You're not a faculty member, but you, I'm assuming, found the value, or maybe not. So I'd like for you to speak to, one, let us know about your motivation. What inspired you, prompted you to pursue graduate school? Also a little bit about your trajectory. You got 2 master's degree. Why 2 as opposed to not 1 PhD?
I'm
And also,
crazy.
girl, I hear you. I have a PhD and I'm not a faculty member.
Yeah.
But speak to that, and just take a little bit of time to, in retrospect, to think on your investment, the return on your investment, and not just financially speaking. We'll get to how to fund that, your graduate degrees, a little bit later, but was it worth it? Would you do it again? And what would
Yeah.
you do? So
Okay. Yeah, all of that, but at first, I really liked what Di said from Cal, like that it's okay to be multiple things because that's been the story of my life. I've been interested in multiple things. And when I was in undergrad, I was actually a double major. So I was already, interested in more than one thing. I started as a chemistry major because I loved chemistry. But when I was at El Camino College, before I transferred to Cal State, I looked at the requirements for chemistry, physics, and math to transfer. And so math, obviously you need all the math, and physics, you need math and all the chemistry, all the physics. But in the chemistry major, you needed all the physics, all the math, and all the chemistry. Environmental engineering added on all the bio, which I was not a bio person. So that is why I chose chemistry. So it allowed me to have a lot of doors remain open because I was not really gonna fixate on one thing. I found that chemistry allowed me to study multiple sciences at the same time. And I still loved math a lot. So I was like 2 people. But I was motivated, when I was very young by my family who's good at math. And we talk about math at home, that's just how we are. My daughter was born into that, so she also gets it. So I was always motivated to share that. I worked as a tutor in the math department at El Camino College for about 3 years. When I transferred, I was actually pregnant tutoring, and everyone would joke that it's like the smartest baby because she just hears all this math everywhere. But I never wanted to lose that love that I had for math, but it wasn't all I was. And that drove that kind of was my driver, is that I was interested in science and I was interested in using science as an application. And the best way to do that is engineering. That's what I found in my, in my path, in my journey through the kind of applications I was interested in, which would be like remediation or water treatment. And I found a lot of love for research as well in undergrad. I did research in undergrad. I worked as an undergraduate research assistant, and it was fascinating. I loved it. I was, pretty good at running experiments and getting good data and, being valuable in that way towards that cause. But I still had this, desire to see it implemented in a larger scale. And we did some collaboration with a municipality in Orange County. It was Orange County Water. So my PI, the principal investigator, the professor who I, was under during my research program, Dr. Steve Messick of the chemistry department at Cal State, he did a lot of research with Orange County Water. And so I would always jump at the chance to even like pick up an instrument or drop off an instrument. Like I just wanted to go and like be there and look at it because I was so fascinated by the work that they did in water reuse and groundwater sustainability. So that, you know, actually opened my eyes to look at that agency a little bit more. So when I went to graduate school, I found out that they had an internship open in their research group. And so I applied for that. And, you know, my background with my previous research and their collaboration helped me get that internship. And that really just opened my eyes to like, I love this. I love being here. I love everything about, you know, the work that they do to provide clean water, all the chemistry that was involved. I got to do a lot of experiments. And if they needed help with like computations for this, that, and the other, they're like, oh, well, she's studying math as well. So, and so I got to apply what I learned in school in the real world. And it made me really happy. You know, I was really happy being there and studying that. And then also I was working with the MESA program. And so I got to like bring my experiences to the children, which was fulfilling as well. And to your next point, like why 2 masters, I like to teach. I do like to teach. And so, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do in 10 years from now. It might be go back to academia or in 5 years from now. And that I didn't want to leave and have to come back for that master's. That's why I was a little crazy, I'm saying, because it's a very big commitment. Once you finish 1 master's and that's your focus and that's what you do, and that is what I do, right? I work in engineering and water resources. Everything I just said led me to that position. But I still had this, like, I look at my math books on the shelves and I'm just like, I wish I had time to read them more because they're just so interesting. So that's why I did the second master's. It was hard. It wasn't easy. It was 4 years worth of a commitment. But with the long-term goal in mind that perhaps one day I would go back to academia and just be a professor, be one of those old math professors that never stop teaching because it's fun. I don't know. So that was, you know, it was just following that gut instinct, that voice that I wanted to be somewhere in 10 years that would make me happy. And if I don't do the work now to get there, then I'll possibly not be as happy as I would be if I did the work to get to that dream. You know, that's what motivated me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story, a girl after my own heart. I think that's why I work for the University of California, because I want to be a forever student, to be honest with you. So, but I love that you ended your phrasing with, you know, the future. So you didn't close the door to that and say, you know, I got a graduate degree and I'm working in industry and that was my path. You know, you left the door open. You left the door open to continue that academic exploration, that intellectual curiosity. So I'm going to use that to pivot on to a kind of a different question that I'm going to pose to Tiara. You know, as an outreach admissions kind of advisor, when you see people under STEM in certain areas, whether it's in basic biological sciences, the big life sciences, and a lot of these engineers, computer science majors that are thinking, well, maybe I should just go into industry. I might make more money. You know, do I want to follow academic path? What are things that you help them get through to understand what's that right path for them? You know, STEM is very large and STEM can have wonderful contributions in industry and academia, not separately, sometimes combined. So how do you help students explore that?
Yes, great question. I would say going back to just thinking of, again, the 2 types of degrees. So let's say you're thinking of maybe a master's in computer science or engineering, which again would typically be the route if you wanted to pursue an industry role. So maybe you wanted to, I don't know, be a software engineer, a data scientist, or a developer. That could get you into some of the big tech industries quicker. Typically, those degrees are going to be a shorter amount of time, so maybe a couple of years. Those degrees also tend to be more product focused and hands-on again, and usually would allow you to maybe come in and go up to a mid-level to a senior position. Many engineers also progress in leadership and management and specialized roles without needing a PhD. So that's one way to think about the industry related roles. In terms of that degree itself, the return on investment, there's an emphasis on applying your knowledge to solve problems. So the key takeaway is that, you know, a master's degree, it's a gateway to high impact roles in the industry, especially if you want to like deepen your skills and accelerate your career. So as Monica alluded to, you may, and I did this as well, you may get that master's degree, and I've worked since I started working, but I worked in tandem with getting that degree. And it could be, you know, if you're not certain, as I was saying earlier, if you want to get that doctoral degree or you want to get in the industry and feel it out, it could be a great way to, again, maybe increase your income, but also increase your confidence, as my colleague Di said, and then think about if you want to get that higher degree. So if you want to go the academia route, typically you're going to need a PhD. So that's going to be for a research and development, R&D focused fields, and would allow you to teach and typically publications, either in universities or different research institutes. And if you go the PhD route, you could be more open to advanced leadership, executive leadership roles. So typically because of, again, the investment of time and of education and of practice that you're required to do with those degrees, you may be able to come in at a higher position, which hopefully comes with a little bit more pay. Some PhDs commercialize research for entrepreneurship. And again, a PhD, you could also work in big tech, but also in national labs as well, and in advanced engineering divisions within industry. Typically, those degrees are going to take 4 to 7 years, and they are highly specialized. So that's a difference, is that, you know, the PhD would typically open those doors in research, in academia, in innovation, but it's not necessary for most industry roles, unless, again, you want to push the boundaries of knowledge, and that PhD is going to typically be a more longer term, higher impact. You want to change science, right? So again, it's not a right or wrong. One thing that I have very intentional conversations with prospective graduate students about is fit. There's no right or wrong. It's your personal circumstances, it's your personal career goals, it's your learning style, it's what you want to get out of a educational experience that will define, right? It's what's happening in your life at the time. Do you need the flexibility? It's, you know, your holistic health. I mean, there's so many factors that should go into making this decision that I just want to emphasize that it's no right or wrong track. In graduate school, you know, one of the things I love the most, and I worked at a community college for 5 years too, and loved it for the same reason, the diversity in the classroom, right? There's people that build families and take a long time, and then they come back. And then you have the folks that are coming right out of a bachelor's degree, but you will see some programs that will encourage you and say, we want you. I know, for example, UCLA's computer science program, which is very competitive, they are more direct in saying, we want folks that go out and get a little bit of industry experience, right? So, I mean, there's all kinds of factors depending on the institutions that you're interested in. And again, kind of that internal, what your values and priorities are, which are going to be unique and precious. And the sooner you can just have these discussions to kind of identify those, then we can try to identify the best fit for you.
Thank you so much. And that's a perfect segue in kind of the last couple of questions or inquiries that I'm going to pose to the group before we open it up for a larger discussion is thinking about what's right for you, that right fit. There's a lot of questions, you know, a lot of uncertainties. And of course, prospective students, sometimes they don't know what they don't know. So they don't know that they can have a PhD completely financed without ever taking out a student loan. There's ways to do that. They don't know about internships or, you know, companies that will pay for your master's degree. There's a lot of ways to finance your career. And there's lots of different modalities to, you know, to pursue your graduate education, whether it's an in-person program, an online program, a hybrid program. So I'm going to just pose that to the group. I'll start with Diana. Like, how can students think about financing a graduate degree? And also, what are those modalities? You know, how do you explore what's the right fit for you?
Yeah, one of the things that I love about UCLA's graduate education programs is that they fund a lot of master's degrees in engineering. And I've had our nerds go through and get their master's degrees in engineering. And I have some there that are getting their degree for their doctorate in engineering. And I have one of my alumni, Stephen Chavez, who's a new professor at UCLA. So funding is important. But I know when I was applying to grad school, I didn't even know really how to go about that. So I made sure to put a resource on there because UCLA, again, highlighting some of their magic, is that they manage a website called Grapes. And that website, Tara, maybe I could ask you to put the link in there, is a database of fellowships about how to apply to graduate school, but the resources for financing graduate school. And that's important. When a faculty takes you in for a doctorate, it's over $100,000 investment for them, right? So how are they going to do that? There's professional programs. There are master's programs. Professional programs are like vet school, business school, law school, medical school. The program that I'm currently in is a working professional program. When I got my master's degree, I was also in a working professional program through the University of San Francisco. This program that I'm in right now is for educational leadership for administrators, and my focus is in educational technology. So still in the area of STEM, but I have to think about funding that differently, especially since I'm older. I'll probably be the oldest one in my graduation, but I don't care because I'm graduating next year, y'all. And it's never too late for a MESA student to walk across that stage and say, this is happening. It'll be Dr. Lizarraga, right? Like, I can't wait for that to happen. So financing, have conversations with the graduate school programs that you're interested in. Let me share one highlight, which was a game changer for us at UC Berkeley. There's a program that's called the UC Leads program. UC Leads stands for Leadership Excellence Through Advanced Degrees. It's at all the UC campuses. So if you're right now at a community college thinking of transferring to a UC campus, please, please, please seek out the UC Leads program at that particular UC Leads campus, because they have not only funding for you to do research and get 2 experiences hands-on in the summer of research, but they created a brand new graduate school fellowship that only UC Lead scholars can apply for. And it basically is a package that helps pay for your PhD. Now that is very unique and very rare. And what I've seen, and promoting that to all my students, I've seen this year, I have doubled the number of our UC Lead scholars that are applying to grad school, right? And they will help you. These programs will help you. UC Leads is one, Mark is another, NIH is another, NSF Camp is another. But this particular UC Leads program will help you pay for your graduate school application fees and the program itself. So there are programs that are out there. There's outside fellowships. One of my students said, oh no, I don't need a fellowship. I'm not religious. And I had to say to them, totally get it. The fellowship that I'm talking about is normally they call a fellowship for graduate school. It's like a scholarship, but instead of calling it scholarship, they call it fellowship. So it's not necessarily MISA or church or religion. This is money to help you go to graduate school. And so some of our students have gotten fellowships. Some of our students have gotten GSI ships, and GSI is a graduate student instructor. So if you become a GSI, basically a grad student TA, they will cover your fees and tuition, and sometimes more, depending on what the package offers. And many graduate programs have additional fellowships, which they call internal campus fellowships, that they can give you. I know that was a lot of information. It's okay to process. There is that link for Grapes that you can look at and take a look at the different fellowship opportunities. But please know that there is money out there to help support you. So I'll stop there.
And actually, Diana, that's a perfect segue to open it up for our student questions, because all of that information, and I'm just going to promote myself for a second. I'll put it here in the chat. We have a system-wide at the University of California Office of the President, a system-wide graduate admissions website. And if you see the top of that page, we have different buckets of information on how to think, about graduate school, how to apply for graduate school, how to finance your graduate school. It has grades listed. It has the descriptions, definitions, distinctions between those internal fellowships and the extramural ones that you might get from NSF or NIH, for example. It has campus profiles, and it has an online search tool where you can look up more than 600 different graduate degree programs that the UC has to offer. So check that out. And now I'm going to turn it over to our MESA students, our MESA participants. So I know we had an earlier question posed about someone inquiring just, how do I get into graduate school for computer science? I did see that question. So I don't know if anyone wants to take that on while we have other people raise their hands or pose additional questions in the chat.
I see a few questions from Jay in the Q&A and then one from Josh.
I think I can maybe just provide a quick advice before I give it to the professionals in this field. I mean, from my personal experience, I also asked the same question, how do I get into this master's program? And the first thing that I did was go to my advisor who I trusted. So I had a good advisor. And because of that, he kind of told me, speak to the person in charge of the program first, and then, ask your questions. And if they're busy, walk with them wherever they're going. And that's actually what I did. I went to go speak to the chair of the Environmental Engineering and Water Resources program at Cal State. She's a very busy woman, and she was actually on her way to a meeting. So I did walk with her. And she gave me some guidance, initial guidance. We met a couple more times. I had to really meet her a couple times to get a roadmap mapped out. So for me, my graduate program was in-house, if you will, because it was undergrad Cal State, graduate school Cal State. So I went directly to the person in charge of that program, and I brought my transcripts to her, and she looked at everything that I had, and she, gave me her initial approval. But no, it was hard one, and we made a plan together, and that was a year ahead of time. So that was my last year as an undergrad. So 1 year before graduation, I had to add 4 classes in order to get into this program, and I had to work with her to get a special approval for 2 of those classes because they were actually, one was a prereq for the other. So I took statics, engineering, and dynamics at the same time, which is not really allowed. The professor of statics was her husband. So in that case, we worked something out, and I made promises to not fail her classes. And I took those classes, and I got in, and she really guided me. She was not the associate dean at this time, but she's now the associate dean of engineering at Cal State Long Beach. So I would encourage you to go to the most trusted advisor you have, and then obviously the Tiara and Di can provide like more concrete paths and information.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's see, I see a question here from Joshua. So you're in the process of applying to master's program in computer science. Congratulations, Joshua. And now you're nervous, as I'm sure we all of us can attest to that feeling. But so he's asking, looking back on your process, what are some of the proactive things that you did to prepare yourself, or that he can prepare himself for a master's program? Financially, workload, research areas. What advice can you give them?
I can mention that, and I'm just going to go back to the computer science question. So at Berkeley, it's very common for us to get we have I think it's about 3,000 applications we typically get for computer science. We have about a 7% acceptance rate. So what's really important that everybody knows is that the letters of rec, they actually matter, and it's really important to help your letter writers. And so what I did, and what other folks will do, and what other students should consider and think about, is putting together a letter of recommendation packet. This is a packet about yourself, talking about your why, which Tiara had mentioned. What is your why? It's important for your letter writers to also understand that. It has some background information. It has some of your grades. It has maybe a passion project, or some of the work that you did for that particular professor in that class, if it's a professor you took a class with. It has a picture of yourself on there, because sometimes professors teach hundreds of students a year, and you want to make sure that they remember you instead of a person that has a similar name. One year we had a student that a professor was writing for 3 Marias, right? We wanted to make sure that the right Maria was with the right letter. So help your faculty out, help your letter writers out, and get together a small packet of information that can help them write the best letter about you that they can. You know, we're all human. We all have struggles. Sometimes if there's something you want to address about a struggle or a challenge, or students are like, I didn't get the perfect grades, you can also put that in your letter of rec packet and explain. Usually there's a situation that led to that, or a circumstance that led to that. Maybe you haven't given that kind of context before. Your letter writers can advocate for you, but not only advocate for you, explain this is what's happened and this is how this student used their resilience to overcome this barrier and move forward. So the letter of recommendation packet for those that are thinking about applying to graduate school, I think is really important in a way that maybe students don't think about every day. So I'll stop there and let others answer.
Thank you so much, Dana.
Vanessa, do you want me to jump in? Yeah, I was going to say
thank you.
amen. UCLA, we have a 1-hour workshop on letters of recommendation, and it's our highly rated one. So I just want to say amen. I won't get on that soapbox. My recommendation would be work with what you have. So at UCLA, we train the admissions committees to adopt holistic admissions, right? And I will go out to conferences, and prospective students will come up to me and say, I don't have research experience, or I don't have computer science classes because they weren't available. That's okay. There are other ways to show your level of investment, your initiative taking. It can be in your free time. It can be your extracurriculars. What are you reading? So elevate some things that you may not naturally think are tied to this consistent storyline of interest in this area. And again, have other people help you to pull that out of you, because sometimes you can't see yourself. That's why our eyes point out, right? So work with what you have. Usually committees are reviewing your application in context. And secondly, curate that application. I tell prospects that if I can cross out UCLA and put any other school, your application isn't strong enough. This means you have researched the heck out of the culture of the institution. Reach out to students in the program. That is such an overlooked gem when it comes to prospective students. It means you have looked at publications or the lectures that are on Google for a lot of the professors now, right? So that is probably one of the biggest points of advice I want to give you when you're looking at highly competitive institutions such as the ones on this call. It is your benefit to do your level of research. We should be able to read that application and say, this person knows the good, bad, and ugly. They've talked to all types of community members. Not only can we give them what they want, but they can make our community so much better.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you focused so much on the individuality and the focus that students or prospective applicants should be putting on their applications, because, and I'm just going to throw it out there, I don't want to make assumptions that you know, but graduate school is very different than undergraduate in that there is not one central application. So there may be 50 computer science programs available at the University of California, and potentially you could have 50 different requirements for your application. So really read the requirements. Some programs in public health may require you to be a practitioner for 5 years before you pursue a PhD. Same thing with other programs. You know, some may require certain entrance exams, some may not. So do the research also in terms of requirement, because that may also kind of help you think about what you want to pursue. So
might I also say one thing? There are fee waivers out there that are available. And when you apply to grad school, it can be anywhere from $50 to $150. That can add up. So please, please, please reach out to those programs, reach out to the graduate divisions and ask, are there any type of fee waivers? Every campus is different. Every campus is different. But even when I applied for UC Davis, it asked, were you a McNair scholar? And I was like, oh, I was a MESA student. I was McNair. I was a McNair scholar. They waived my fee. I'm like, I didn't need them to waive my fee, but they automatically did it. And it, you know, I couldn't believe it. So please, please, please reach out and see if you can get a discount or a fee waiver so that you're not having to pay full price, so that you can apply to all the programs that you're excited about.
yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you, Diana. And let's see, we have Question from Jay. So how do we adapt from a CSU semester system to a UC quarter system? For those that may not know, so we have 2 schools that are still remain on the semester system, Berkeley and Merced, and then the other 8 are on the quarter system. So depending on where you want to migrate to, you may have no difference, but I'll let, I guess, UCLA talk to the quarter to the quarter people.
I don't know. I think I don't know if there's one uniform answer for that. I mean, I know that a lot of programs in the summer with your cohort will speak to this and kind of talk about, you know, how your quarter in terms of expectations and exams and those things will align. I mean, the big difference is going to be, you know, in a quarter system, those grades and those weight projects are going to just have much more weight, right? Because it's a lesser amount of time. So I would just say, you know, planning, organizing, definitely that first year, first couple of quarters, taking advantage of office hours, touching base to kind of track how you're doing. And again, because you don't have as much content that's going into those grades or as long of a time to maybe swing up, you know, a GPA towards the end. It's a quicker moving pace, which is beneficial as well. But yeah, Monica, I want to turn it over to you.
Yeah, so I don't have that experience, but what I wanted to say was that I'm working with Danielle and Mindy on having more sessions similar to this. And I have a lot of friends who might have like firsthand experience in answering those kind of questions. So these are great questions because I do have a lot of friends who went from like community college to Cal State to UC or back and forth. And so to everyone like that's listening on the call, just keep an eye out in MESASpace because we are going to try to plan a lot more, you know, sessions where we could, you know, have panels of other students who have gone through the graduate program as well. MESA alumni students.
Thank you so much, Monica. Oh, yeah.
I know that there's one more question in the chat, which I think is great. And what I'm going to do is pose this question to the panelists, and we will have them crowdsource and answer, and we'll put that in MESASpace. And I want to say thank you so much. I wish that when I was thinking about going to grad school and applying to grad school, that I knew half of the things that I learned today. When I was in grad school, it was a very lonely experience. So I hope that from this, you all know that there's a network out there. There are people who are there who want to support you and help you. So if we could take ourselves off of mute or use the chat to say thank you to Vanessa and Tiara and Di and Monica. Thank you so much. Come on, let's hear it. Yes, yes. We're here to help. And thank you. We will see you at the next session. Everyone, thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Dana, for hosting everything. Thank you, everyone.